We're gonna round off our warm up with a few drills, just to get your movement going, your heart rate up a little bit. Some of these are to warm up your shoulders, some of these are to warm up your hips, as we're gonna be doing something that requires a little bit of both dexterities from those. So here we go. We're gonna be doing like monkey swings. I want you guys to do your stance, like if you're in a wrestling stance, you're gonna be squared. You're gonna have one hand on the knee, and it's your choice if you wanna have your hand flat or if you wanna do palms. This will look really familiar to some of you guys. It's a really common warm up to do, but we're going to hand on the knee, fist on the floor, hop to the other side, staying in your stance. I'm just gonna go from side to side. I want you guys to do 20 of these, and try to stay in your stance. Try not to pop up, walk up. Remember, we're trying to warm up our hips, okay? Any questions? All right, with your partner, let's do it, 1, 2. This is both for you and the bottom person, but mostly for the bottom person to warm up them hips. So it's gonna be a coordination drill. This should also look really familiar because it's also a really common warm up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna be off the side, we're gonna lead with our hand, putting it right next to the hip. We're gonna sit out, turn, they're gonna change their legs. Slowly, hand on the floor, sit through, turn your head as you turn. Partner's gonna change, hand on the floor, sit through, change, sit through, change. Any questions? Okay, with your partners, let's do it, 1, 2. We're gonna be doing some around the worlds is what we call them, which are just an introduction to inverting and going from one side to the other. So I'm also sure you guys have probably seen this as well, but if you haven't, this will be fun. We're gonna take our inside leg. So you notice I'm straddling one leg inside, one leg out. My inside leg, I'm gonna take my hand and I'm gonna go under. When I have my leg under, I'm gonna start curling and I'm gonna start leaning to the side. As I lean, I'm taking my far side hand and reaching, and I'm gonna try to grab Kelsey's opposite knee and or opposite ankle, depending on what my flexibility is. So as I come down, I'm now going to take this outside leg, reaching it up, taking my hip out and wide in between, and put both feet inside. This is my favorite part, but also one of the difficult parts, entering in and then exiting. Exiting, I'm now that I have 2 feet in, I'm gonna remove my inside leg that was there before, taking it out, and now I'm gonna pull with my hamstring around Kelsey's leg to sit up. From here, you can start engaging into your wrestle ups if you like. Lots of opportunities there. Or if you get really good at this drill, you can do all the way around, which I'll show in a minute. So you don't have to do it both sides, but I do recommend it. So you can be really good at going either side. But going backwards, one leg in, one leg out. Hand that's the inside is gonna come under and grab. We do not go over because you impede your ability to come up, all right? So do not go over your leg. Make sure you grab under and grab the heel. Once we're here, remember we're gonna grab to the far side, leaning towards our side and starting to invert. If you have difficulties doing this inversion, I want you guys to lean to the side and start to just think about doing a plow with your hips. So if you've ever done yoga, do a plow and then rotate to the opposite side, all right? Sometimes our flexibilities won't allow us to do that inversion and get both feet in. That's what I found is the most difficult part about this is getting both feet in. So if you're having that difficulty, holler at me and I'll help you to get into the plow position and get you to at least dismount and go to the opposite side, all right? So one more time. We're here, inside leg. My inside arm is gonna go under the knee. I'm gonna reach around to the opposite ankle and or calf and turn through. If you really like to, you can continue to go around the world. Okay, any questions? Does anybody see it again? Okay, with our partners, let's do it. 1, 2. Hands, so your hips are forward, and we're gonna rotate our knees as good as you can to 90 degrees. Your hips flexors and or hips might be a little tight, and that's okay. But try to give your best as you're gonna go. I want you to think that you have magnets inside your inner knees. They're trying to oppose opposite forces, so you wanna try to keep your legs open as long as you can. So like when we're doing this, we're not trying to get both to go real close. We want you to keep them really nice and wide so you're working like your knees to the outside. So if you need to, lean on your hands, push your knees all the way to the floor, opposing forces. And we're gonna go 90-90. So I want you guys to do 20 of these, just rotating back and forth, open up them hips. As I said, this is gonna be the easiest one that we do for the most part. Like, you're not doing a bunch of cardio and warming up, but you guys warmed up them hips by doing all of your movements. So this should help finish out the job. All right, add a couple more in. I love these so much. Like, they're by far my favorite to do. Okay. All right, how are we feeling? We feeling pretty warm? Hips nice and loose?
Ready to birth the child, baby.
Oh man. Okay, which way are we gonna show this? Maybe they're all out this way, so maybe here? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna show this from a few angles just because I feel like there's a lot of parts moving, and so I'm gonna do my best to capture it. I'll be showing it this way and then we'll rotate. So today we're gonna be going over an armbar. Some people, it has many names. It's like a far side armbar, a Choi bar is what it's really been known as for the past, I don't know, a couple years. It's really gained a lot of popularity. And or it could also be called an arm saddle. That's what Robert Deagle calls it. So we're gonna be entering in that. We're gonna show it from a few different positions today. And we're gonna start off with probably the most simple one to enter in from, and that's based off of our partner's reactions. So we're gonna start off in half guard. When I'm in half guard, typically what happens in half guard is people wanna gain control of your head and your neck, right? They wanna pull you in and start trying to smash you and or get a crossface and an underhook and kill your knee. So when I'm here, I'm gonna be attacking this side arm. It's ideal to have your knee shield inside here just so that you can use it to off balance and push, just like a normal half guard. So our frames. Our frames are what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna be using my top arm into the shoulder and my bottom arm hooking around the elbow, right next to it. When she reaches to engage into the collar tie, I'm going to swim my hand under and I'm gonna take my ear to her knee. As I do, I'm gonna start working a gable grip right onto the ridge of her shoulder. As I do this, I'm going to be taking my the underhook arm and trying to pull forward. And I like personally to take my elbow right under her elbow to try to roll it all completely forward. So as I do this, I'm rolling forward and I'm gonna start taking my top knee shield and start putting it into her neck. So position, I'm here and I'm pinching hard down onto the arm. From here, I'm gonna use this shin that's on her neck to push down her posture onto her neck and come through. Sometimes you'll have to axe kick down to push down that posture to get this leg over. But the final position of our leg is we want it to like be onto top of her back. So when she starts posturing up, we can use it to push onto her hip and start pulling this arm backwards. Just like a normal arm bar, we're going to want to gain the space. I'm gonna be pinching with my inside knees. So top leg is over the shoulder, pinching down. I'm using this foot on the hip just to like pull because typically our partner's reactions are going to be here. So I'm using my back to pull and I'm gonna pinch here as I pinch with my bottom leg. So you can absolutely attack from here, but to be honest, all them upper belts and black belts, you're not gonna get it from here. You might be able to get this on lower belts, but in reality, you're gonna wanna feed this foot all the way through to that opposite hip. And I'll make sure to do this on the opposite side so you guys can see, but I'm using it as a hook onto her hip. So that way I can really pull my knees together and be able to really squeeze and give counter pressure. When I'm doing this counter pressure, I'm pushing in with my top shin as I'm pulling back with my bottom leg. Almost like two pairs of chopsticks. If you guys have ever used chopsticks to like pick up your food, I'm picking up her knee. So I can apply that pressure both to the inner thighs and also so it makes it hard for her to be able to roll. Not to say you can't, it's just that it makes it a lot stronger to hold on as a grip. So now that we're here, you can finish your arm bar. We're gonna stop there for a moment and I'll go in over what to do if she rolls. But let's do the position one more time. And then we'll probably turn it. So we're here in our half guard. I'm sorry, I'm so gross. We're here in our half guard. We engage our frames. We do not want them to be able to smash us. So I'm always keeping this frame, top frame, engaged at a 45. I know there's half guards that do here or they do the clamps. That's not the style I'm doing just because I don't want this bottom leg to get caught under them. So again, keep it nice and high. I like to hook onto the hip and use it up top because I know I'm gonna be engaging right on top of that neck. So Frames on the inside. When I'm ready, I'm gonna swim my bottom hand under to gain control of that arm. As I do, we're gonna gable grip, and I'm gonna pull real hard down onto the top of the ridge of the shoulder as I pull the arm up. As I'm doing this, I'm taking my knee, pushing on her neck, turning it down. If I need to, I'm gonna axe kick her head down so that I gain control over that posture, especially with taller, larger guys. Y'all are real strong, so axe kick your head down so that I gain control of your posture, and go onto the back. If you have the foot dexterity, I recommend turning your foot down to the pad of your foot so you really can grip and turn that knee for control. Now you can, typically from here, like I'll start my pinch, push on the hip, and be able to execute the armbar. However, against good people, that's not gonna work. So I'm gonna take my foot all the way across to the opposite side hip, curling with my toes to make sure I have control. Once I've gained my control, I'm gonna pinch with my inner thighs, and I'm going to be chopsticking counter pressure on her bottom leg. Now I can execute the armbar, and typically it's pretty difficult to roll. But we should shoulder roll real quick. Let's just do it. So when Kelsey goes, even if she does, I'm continuing to hold that counter pressure, so it's hard to pull that leg, and I can continue to finish the armbar from here. Okay. Any questions? Lay 'em at me.
When you put the foot on the hip, you said it gets higher about, is that to prevent the hitchhiker escape?
So I don't really find it's the hitchhikers. It's more like I'm feeding the leg through. Yeah, it's hitchhiking, but also it's,
Straighten the line, right?
yeah, it's like they're gonna straighten out. Here, I'll show. So like the boop, 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 boop. So like if I don't have that counter pressure, let's say I just go lax on this arm, Kelsey can easily like she can still go through, and what happens? Go ahead and roll. What will happen is like that leg will come out, which is fine, but I really enjoy that cross pressure because this top leg I know is what she needs to stop to finish the armbar. Like if she doesn't have that pressure on her head, the body follows where the head goes. So if I'm not controlling the head, she's gonna come on up, and then I'm gonna lose that armbar. So that's part of why. Although when that happens, I like to take it behind, I'll go behind this way because she doesn't have control of that opposite side. So like go ahead and block kills. Because it means that she's gonna stand up. I know that I can hook here, and I can still finish the armbar by hanging off her head. So that's what I'll do to combat that. And then that prevents the hitchhikers from the shoulder mobility.
Gotcha. Yeah, the reason I was asking, so when she rolled, it seemed like your half guard leg was really the one that was preventing her from coming up.
This bottom one, right?
Connecting the bottom leg.
Yes.
So if you don't have that foot, as long as it stays in the half guard and she rolls, you should still have a tight armbar. You have
Yes.
to be consistent to the half guard leg staying in.
Yep. It's like it provides that counter pressure. Okay, and then Aaron, you had a question, right?
When you're switching that for the higher belts to get that through, is that a stopping point from hip to hip, or are you just going straight?
I personally, I like to feed it through because I do the counter pressure. But often, sometimes they'll block that spot and I can't feed that leg through. So if that's the case, then I'll pit stop right onto that hip. Because the best part about this is there's so many offensive abilities from there. You can chain it to so many more submissions. Like you got your omoplatas, triangles. There's so many opportunities for you to take advantage of wrist locks. And yeah, I can keep going on, but I won't for now. But yeah, you can pit stop there. I know that people are gonna posture up real quick, so I tend to try to feed that through if I can. Feed through, priority number 1. Priority 2 would be foot on the hip. Yeah. Any more? Oh, absolutely. Okay, here we go. So we are here in our half guard. We have our bottom leg and we are engaging in our frames. We have an upper arm grip and a lower arm grip. Our lower arm grip, as she starts to come in, I'm gonna swim under and I'm gonna gain a gable grip. As I gain this gable grip, I'm going to pull down on the shoulder, and as I do, I'm gonna try to take this knee to my chest so that I can get it into our neck. As I push into her neck, I'm gonna hop over and start using it to control her back. Ideally, I'm gonna take this all the way through and provide that counter pressure onto her arm to be able to execute the armbar. However, a lot of the times people are gonna be blocking that space, so it's gonna be here. And from there, I can start working the arm bar. On the next time, I'll make sure to show you guys, if that happens, how to pull them over. Because we'll do that in our next one too. Okay, ready? Let's do this, 1, 2. I do naturally, and I didn't talk about it. So 2 things I need to talk about and bring up. One, as I mentioned, not everybody has hip mobility as flexible as I do, and I understand that, but that does not mean that this move is not for you. It just means we have to get our angles right. It's all in the ankles, right? So we're here. When we're here, I forgot to mention a couple points. One, I'm pushing Kelsey's chest. I don't want her to gain chest-to-chest connection, because then I'm gonna have to be fighting out of a half guard. So I'm pushing with my knee, and when I'm ready, I can also hip escape to gain that space. Do you see, like, now it's gonna be easier for me to get my knee to her neck, versus when I'm really crunched up right here, Kelsey has a lot more mobility to put onto my frames, and it's gonna jam me up. So to help prevent that, I'm gonna hip escape out. So I'm just here, hip escape out, and now it should be a lot easier for you to be able to pull her posture forward and use your leg. Axe kick down and come through. One thing I'm seeing when I'm coming around, regardless if we feed it through or if we have it on the hip, or if we're just having it hang here and pinching with our inner thighs, is I'm noticing people are letting go of their grips. I do not let go of my grips. I keep my grips the whole time. And the reason why is because I'm using this elbow to help guide her thumb. So if I don't have control over this, she's just gonna be moving around and trying to get out of that arm bar. So to help prevent that, I'm using this bottom arm to help guide her hand through. So it's like, have you guys ever done your rear naked chokes to say, like, guide your elbow across to their chin, and that's when you know you have a tight choke? Same thing with this arm bar. When I'm using this arm bar, I'm using it to help guide, and I'm holding my arm to my chest, and I'm pulling up, guiding that thumb to go thumbs up for that arm bar, ready, good to go. Another part too is I'm flexing. I'm not just having it lay simple, I'm trying to flex so it adds pressure so she can't move it as easily. This is just some tips and tricks I learned to be able to do. So it's like, she can't pull that arm out as easily. I have control over it. Yeah, so one more time. So I had a lot of talkies. Make sure you're adding your knee as a frame. It is a frame, it's pushing away. So when we're here, if you are finding you're getting jammed up, like you're way too close and you're under them, especially if your knee is starting to get smashed, you're gonna need to hip escape out so you can get the space and be able to rotate and pull them forward. Kick down. If you really need to, axe kick down the head to gain the posture, come through, and hook to the opposite hip. Keeping your grips the whole time, we're going to take our elbow, flex our biceps, and we're gonna pull that arm through so that we can get the tap. All right, I don't wanna keep arm barring that arm, Kels. Okay, absolutely.
So if you're gonna keep the rear naked choke grip, or would you switch to 2 hands on?
So I do switch, but that's like after I have it contained, if that makes sense. Like I'm here until I can get that thumb to be thumb up, and then I'm gonna switch, especially if they roll. Because I can't maintain this grip as I roll. Let me show that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We go doop, boop, 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 ba-doop. Okay, we're here. So as you can see, like Kelsey rolls. I might lose my position. Like a lot of the times I lose it, so I'll take this, gripping with my, because remember I had the gable grip the whole time. I now can gain control of this wrist and start working to make it straight thumb up on this side. Okay, all right. What's up, Danny?
Yeah, I want you to explain the intention on your bottom. Go back to your half foot. The little thing I see you doing, and it's your right foot is connecting the top of your foot, connecting underneath her ankle.
Rotating my toes down.
This little
yes. Active toes the whole time. Active hooks. These are my lifelines to hold on to.
Rotate, 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 rotate. This.
So I'm not like hanging out down here loosey-goosey. I'm always active, flexing them toes backwards for hooks. It's like, no-gi is awesome, but you need to have control. And that's one of the hard parts about no-gi, especially guard, is you don't have the control. So I'm using my body trying to gain that control, and so I'm always trying to activate my toes to my shins when I'm playing a type of guard, if I'm going to especially be hooking and moving and manipulating my partner's body. Thank you. But I guess we'll show it one more time with all the things. So we're here, we're coming through, we're getting our grip. I'm going to kick, and come through, hooked all the time. And now I can come through. All right, let's do this a couple more times, then we're gonna move on to the next entry. Okay, 1, 2. Suck you in, control your hips, start pressuring her down like a pretzel, and smash you to the side, right? So when we're attacking this, I'm using their pressure of what they're going to be doing, of stacking me up, to be able to attack and get the toy bar from here, and or the arm bar.
Which side are you going to?
This side.
Got it.
So the first is, if people are starting to do double unders, if they have their grips, we always defend this grip first. So I'm gonna grab the fleshy bit of the thumb and I'm gonna pull it across to break it. It's almost like a little bit of a wrist lock style. So grab the fleshy bits, overhook on top of that thumb and grab and rotate out so it's hard and breaks that grip. All right, so whatever hand is on top, you mind switching? You're gonna grab the thumb, hook your fingers inside, wrench that thumb out to be able to pull it away and break that grip. Once you break that grip, I want you guys to be heavy with your hips and splay them wide like we're doing our 90-90s. So we're here, we're shoulder walking back. So shoulder walking is, I'm rotating my body to one side, pulling my back forward, rotating my body to the other side and pulling forward so I can walk my body backwards so I can create the space that I need to execute the move. That was exaggerated, but I want to show you guys how to shoulder walk. So they're going to double unders, they're going to start pulling us up. Before they start stacking, heavy legs to the outside. We're going to start attacking the grip, turning it wide, and now here we go to start entering. When I have my legs wide, you'll notice there's now a pocket between Kelsey's shoulder and her body. I'm going to use this opportunity to attach to the opposite side. So I'm going to take my far side shoulder and I'm going to reach up and gain a shoulder, my shoulder to her shoulder, so a chest to chest connection. This is incredibly important because we need to get the angle to be able to work our actual attack arm inside. So now that I have this grip, and when I get this grip, I'm punching my elbow all the way through as far as it's gonna go so I can feed. I need to feed my bottom hand through. So when I'm ready, I'm going to lean my body to the side, switch my grips, and now you guys should start seeing this is real familiar. So for this one, we need to frame on her face using our inside arm to flare her head that way. That way we can come through, axe kick, and when I axe kick, I'm gonna swivel my body, go from one hip to the opposite. So switch my hip and turn down. I'm inverting my knee so that I can use it to hook around her hip and I can start working to attack this arm. A lot of the times what will happen though is they're gonna start feeling the pressure alleviate and I'm gonna feed this leg through. So on that from here, you'll notice we're in a very similar position. A lot of the times they're gonna end up rolling as this happens, and that's okay, because I'm gonna feed this leg through and get this style of an arm bar. If they don't, I'll show you guys how to roll them over right now. Okay, again. So a lot of times I'll even do this even before they've locked their hands. So like this, I don't really want to do it from here. I want to do it immediately. Once somebody, go ahead and unlock. Like once they're here and they're starting to like hook me, I know that they have their legs under double under hooks. They're gonna start trying to do the pass. So I'm gonna immediately walk my shoulders back. To gain the space, I'm gonna reach up, going as deep as I can with my far side arm, switch the grip, being nice and tight, and now I'm gonna rotate to this hip. Rotate and flare my elbow into Kelsey's face so it makes her turn and breaks down her posture. I'm gonna now go from this hip to the opposite. So actually, can you posture up one more time?
Yeah.
I'm gonna posture. So now that I've pushed her away, it's gonna be easier. If you need to, feet on the floor to help rotate, but I'm gonna go from my right hip to my left hip. So one hip, flip, kick, to axe kick the head, and again, I'm never letting go of my grip. I'm pulling as this goes through. Inverting my knee, keeping my head nice and close to her lower body. If you are finding that it's hard to feed this through, that's okay. You can always pull them over. To pull them over, this is the reason why I never let go of this inside grip. It's always clutched nice and high to my face. Flexing with my bicep, I'm gonna reach under and I'm gonna grab her toes. I'm gonna pull her knee at a very awkward, uncomfortable angle to pull her on top of me. And from here, now I can continue to execute my armbar. Okay. I love this setup, it's my favorite. The other reason why I'm showing these is because I use these arm bars to hit in West Coast trials. I've executed in 2 of my matches, 2 of the 6, to finish the arm bar. The other one was from closed guard. So I just wanted to share this with you guys, the mechanics of how it worked and how I was able to execute it. This one specifically, I love this one because it's unsuspecting to the person who is trying to do their pass. They don't anticipate you to attack from there. They anticipate you to be folded like a pretzel. Yes, yeah. What's up?
Whenever you roll, you didn't have
The opposite hook.
behind the neck. You had under kind of the armpit rib, and then the other thing, and then that works out probably the same way. You try to find where the elbow is and go against it. I'm guessing.
I don't think I understand where you're coming from.
Do the flip, maybe if you land.
Yeah.
Maybe just watch this one thing.
Lift. No. Heavy legs. Switch. Rotate. Elbow Kelsey in the face. Check. We're going to push against the head. Axe kick down to break down the posture. Rotate our hip to the opposite side. And from here, I'm using this bottom hook as a frame. The other reason why I like to do this is because if they really posture high, you can go to after their legs. Like, Kelsey, pull your arm out and like all the way out, like a limp arm. You can also start working to attack the legs. So that's the reason why I like to K-guard with this leg. Sorry, tangent, but that's the reason why I do it this style. All right. So you're saying from here, when I pull her over, I'm pulling her over here.
Okay, so that is that foot that you're saying K-guard. So
It just hooks around.
yeah. So right here you're doing that instead of putting that foot behind the neck.
Yeah.
So that works kind of the same way. Okay.
Yeah. You're saying so like behind it on this side.
Instead of like that, you hooked it like arm.
So here she could still she can still move.
Switch.
Yeah. Yeah. The armbar will still be able to get it from either side.
Yeah, I get it.
Other questions?
Do we have any other questions? Are you ready to try from double unders? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you, Drew.
Ever find the arm bar before when you go all the way around before you know, the foot on the hip in the K-guard position? It looks like you can finish the arm.
Sometimes. I feel like, so like you're talking about like before
Before you push the foot through.
before I push the foot through, so we're here, we're going through. You're talking about here?
Yes, right there.
Yes. So sometimes this happens, but a lot of the times, especially with upper belts, they know that their arm is getting extended away from their body, and they always tend to take this arm immediately inside and under, and like hook it. Try to find some way so you can't pull it. Yeah. And that's the reason why like I'll continue to pull. Of course, like yes, you can, sometimes you will be able to go ahead and like unhook it, Kels. Like sometimes you'll be able to immediately hook it and go. Like, and when this is the case, it's like I'm keeping this arm up, and I'll even use my head to make sure it doesn't rotate here. Because like right now I don't have good control over her whole entire body. Like right now Kelsey is she can turn in and start going, which I do have a counter to that. And I guess I'll show it just for the S and Gs. I go ahead and go, Kels. I turn here, and I go armbar on this side. Yeah. And anytime I have that armbar, you also have a choi bar. So anytime you have this style, you can always open your hips, rotate 180 degrees, and start attacking the opposite way as well. I know. It's a lot, but so like as they posture, you can always switch your hips and attack that other style. There's always options. It's a little system. Okay. We need to say it one more time, since there's a lot of questions. All right, one more time. All right, here we go.
It's easier than you guys think it is. I promise.
It
if
really
you understand basic armbar fundamentals, you'll get it. I promise.
Yes. Okay.
Break the arm, that's it.
If our partners have a gable grip and they're trying to lift us up, we always attack and release our hips first. As I'm releasing my hips and attacking in this grip, I'm taking my legs and being real heavy to the outside of her arms to create the space to come under. So I'm gonna shoulder walk my legs back. I'm now going to reach with my far side arm to be able to gain a chest to chest connection. Now that I have that grip, I'm going to switch and be able to start using this gable grip just like we did for our last one. I'm gonna roll her shoulder forward, and as I do, I'm gonna take this outside leg and think about connecting and kicking over her head to gain down her posture. So kick, rolling to my opposite shoulder, kick down the head, and now I'm gonna turn to my opposite hip. I'm gonna turn my foot down, facing the ceiling. This is a lot easier than you think, to be able to gain control. Now that I have this here, I can feed this through as I continue to flex my bicep, and I'm gonna take my elbow, guiding her arm forward to be able to get the arm bar. If I can't get that arm bar, a lot of the times it's because they're defending and taking that arm inside. I'm gonna grab under her foot, pulling her weight and her leg over me to roll her over. As she rolls over, I'm gonna come through and be able to start attacking. That time she had a really good bite on my arm, so I had to switch out how I finished it because she was defending that way. All right, with our partners, let's go. 1, 2. They're put in on the back of your tendon right here, and you can't pull that arm out, and sometimes it's hard to pull, and you always want to pull out the toes. You want to pull at the end of the lever to be able to pull, control over the whole body. We don't want to be grabbing the ankle and trying to pull them over. We want to grab those fat toes and really make feel that pressure on their knee. But sometimes it's really difficult and we can't get it, or they're so strong and you can't get it. So we're gonna show another submission from there. That's right.
Big old bicep.
All right, here we are. So we're gonna, again, walk them hips out. And I didn't show you guys why not to go straight forward. So the reason why I don't go take this arm inside, look at the angle I have right here on her. It's like I'm folding myself in half. I don't have a good angle to push on her head now, and I don't have a lot of pressure on this elbow. So that's the reason why I'm sitting up. You see how my hips sit out just a little bit so I can get the angle to be able to get in. And that's the reason why I'm sitting up. It's all about the angles. So now back to the original problem. Kelsey is caught on to my bullshit, so she's gonna start defending, and she's grabbing the back of here. One of the submissions I love to do, because it's right here, and a lot of the times when people do this, they have real tight shoulders. We're gonna switch our grip. So right now we have our bottom arm inside their arm controlling it. I'm now going to take my other arm, and I'm gonna get a Kimura coming over, and I'm gonna get an overhook. So I'm gonna just switch my grip, so one arm switches all the way elbow deep for the other. I feed it out. And I'm gonna try to grab my thigh to the opposite side. You want to try to make an elbow to elbow grip, but that's not gonna happen until you start going. I'm gonna start triangling my legs here, and now we're gonna finish our Tariqa Plata by rotating up. So if by some reason, let's say they roll, go ahead and roll, Kels, you can continue to follow their motion and just sit on them and turn. She has really flexible shoulders, so most of you guys won't get to that point. But if you do, no worries. You can still tap the flexible shouldered people. Yeah. Okay? So one more time. We're here. Break that grip, shoulder walk out. Opposite arm, feed the opposite one through. We're gonna frame against the head, axe kick down. But girl, she started to defend. So I can't get my arm in. So I'm gonna switch my top hand where my bottom one is, and I'm just gonna open up the space to be able to get it in. So switch, start turning, and this is the real important part, which is why I'm creating the space. You wanna grab your thigh as close as you can get it. Make sure you find your opposite thigh. This will help solidify the position and lock up that shoulder, okay? So grab your thigh, now triangle your legs so you can start attacking, and you're just gonna tilt them up. So, boop. If they roll, follow the roll, hand on the mat, sit on them, and turn your body. I'm sorry, they stop the roll?
If she doesn't roll after the Tariqa Plata?
I would just continue attacking the Tariqa Plata. But if they are not tapping from it and they're not rolling, typically every person I've done this on will roll because they want to get out of it.
It's like a false sense of security that you're gonna leave the pressure on your
off the shoulder
by rolling. In reality, you just make it worse.
So swoop, boop, boop, boop. right here. Okay, so you're saying here, and like if they don't roll, so I'm here, I'm turning my knees up towards the sky. Like, yeah.
I have to roll.
She has to roll, otherwise, like it's gonna be pressuring. So she rolls, and now I can post my hand on the mat, keeping my hips and weight onto her body, and keep turning my hips.
I can go further, I don't want to scare them.
Okay, are we ready to try this?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. 1, 2. Give your attention, just because I don't want to keep yelling. I'm going to show you guys how to problem solve when your leg gets stuck under your body. What's happening is I feel like a lot of us are keeping our triangle when we're trying to come up, and when we keep our legs triangled when we're trying to come up, your leg stays under you. Sometimes you'll be able to finagle your leg out, but you have to open up your legs as you are coming up and continuing the roll. And that's when I'm gonna settle my body. So let's look in real quick, and we'll get there. And boop, boop, doop. There you go, in here, we switching grippies, we're going through, whoa, we're here. Okay, so when we're here, make sure you guys get, as you guys come through, a couple things. If I have a shallow grip here, this is not gonna be a lot of pressure on Kelsey's body. She has a lot of mobility. The further I can get my elbow to my thigh, upper thigh, the more control over her shoulder I'll have. So 1, I'm here. And I didn't mention, but again, proper triangle mechanics are here too. I'm pinching with my inner thighs. I'm rotating up towards the ceiling. As she rolls, that's when I'm gonna open up my legs like a combat base, put my hand to the floor, putting my weight on her, and start turning backwards for it. If you keep your legs triangled, let's just, I'll have to go back all the way to the top.
She's rolling over a little bit different than some people are. Like, I think people are rolling kind of not the best way. If you can explain how she's
I have an elite defensive roll. That's what I have.
Look at you.
Look at me.
Okay, let's just, whoa, we started here. Okay, when I'm here and I'm turning my knees up, Kelsey's trying to, first she's trying to alleviate by posturing up. So like if I'm taking this up, she's gonna start coming up to her legs to be able to posture and go through.
That's, yeah, she's not rolling over her neck. She's like making sure she's in her head.
Yeah, you guys should never be rolling over your neck in jiu-jitsu.
No.
Like, period.
No.
Period.
So you can already see, like, I let go of my lock. If I don't, go ahead and like roll back up real quick. I'll let go of your arm so we don't break it. If I don't open my arms and I keep this triangle and I'm turning her, that's when your leg gets stuck. And I can't come up. And you jammed up. You can still come up. It's just gonna be a lot harder. So I open that leg so that I can put the weight on them. I want my weight and body on top of them. And also remember, shoulder is a very mobile joint. The more I can control and put weight on this shoulder and isolate that joint from being able to move, the better. The better it will be able to break, which is what we want. So put that weight on them and open up them legs, okay? Any questions? Ready to do it? Oh, you do have.
When you're about to roll, and there's a part that, say she's rolling on her own, and she feels the pain, you could roll her too on purpose, but you could even stop the roll and like kind of just don't let her roll, because she's rolling to alleviate the pain, but if you stop the roll, you can finish your there too.
Yes.
With your left hand.
Swoop, swoop. Okay, so Freddie's saying is like, if I'm here, Kelsey wants to roll, like I can always stop her from rolling and be able to try to finish it from here. The thing is Kelsey's freaking flexible. Her shoulder is so flexible, like regardless of how much I try, I'm not gonna be able to get it. So I'm gonna open up, let her roll. Ah, I lost my position. To be able to go. Yeah, you can, but like women's joints are so flexible. Like I know rolling that I would have to make her roll and put my weight on her. But guys, anybody who has tighter shoulders, you might be able to get away with that. Again, shoulder joints. It's like wrist locks on some people don't work. Okay. With our partners, let's try it out and open up, okay? Don't forget to shoulder roll over your neck, not your head. 1, 2,